across the Illawarra, South Coast and Southern Highlands. This is Win News.
Tonight, a bank closed for deep cleaning after a COVID-positive customer visits the South Coast. Police hunt a knife-wielding thief who held up a newsagent in broad daylight, and a dangerous warning for coastal communities in the face of rising seas. Good evening, I'm Melissa Russel. Also tonight, the frightening close calls caught on camera at some of our region's busiest rail crossings. Calls to establish a ring of steel around Sydney may be coming too late, with increasing cases of COVID creeping into the regions. Nowra, the latest place with a venue of concern, but there's still no confirmation of any new local cases in the Illawarra and Shoalhaven.
Fears coronavirus could breach lockdowns now possibly realised, with Nowra's NAB branch visited by a COVID case. A text message received by some Shoalhaven residents late last night confirmed that a person who attended the bank on July 30 had tested positive. But even this afternoon, 11 days after exposure, the New South Wales Health Case Locations map wasn't updated with any more details, raising questions of a health system under pressure.
Case numbers are increasing, and obviously that stresses all parts of the system, both the operational health aspects of the system and our contact tracers. A
New South Wales health spokesperson told Win News urgent case investigations are underway in relation to the Nowra site. A NAB spokesperson said they were still seeking confirmation from the state government but had closed the branch for a pandemic clean. Staff were also getting tested, putting the community on alert.
I also know that people are very nervous when they receive text messages about going and getting tested. But my message to people is continue to get tested.
This coming on the day police launched a new campaign to crack down on out-of-towners from hotspot areas travelling to the region.
So people can expect to see more police on the main highways, but also on the back roads and checking restaurants and known transport hubs, for example.
Police have also confirmed a prisoner from Nowra who was identified as a COVID case last week was a false positive, leaving the source of today's Nowra detection in limbo. Samara Gardner, Win News.
The Chief Health Officer has been pressed about using vaccination targets to release areas in lockdown at a COVID inquiry today, pointing to Shell Harbour as an area that's been unaffected by case numbers. The mention hints that ease restrictions could still be considered for the region, but a decision isn't likely until the end of August.
Southwest Sydney patients are securely inside Wollongong Hospital with expert staff and COVID-safe measures, but there are still community concerns.
It's scary, isn't it? I think it is scary.
It's not good for Wollongong. If they're keeping them safe and away from us, I don't see an issue with it. If obviously it's getting out in the community, then I guess we'll see an issue with it.
The local health district assuring minimal impact and every precaution taken.
We're very clear. The people looking after these patients who need our care and attention are fully vaccinated, fully trained, fully fit tested and have the appropriate PPE and are working in an environment that fully supports them.
Compassionate care for outsiders is something the region's exercised before.
Last year, when the Ruby Princess was docked at Port Kembla, the community of Wollongong stepped up. We showed how compassionate we can be, we showed how we could work together, and we showed what the region does time and time again.
From the 1st to the 8th of August, the vaccination rates of the eligible population have increased as much as 4.1% in the Illawarra for the first dose and 4.6% in the Southern Highlands and Shoalhaven. And a supply boost could be on the horizon, with Moderna given provisional approval by the TGA. While local vaccination rates are on the rise, the government is still pushing towards a 50% target by the end of August before it considers easing restrictions. And the CHO gave a better indication of what that could look like for our region in an inquiry today.
There may be areas that are unaffected, such as Shell Harbour or areas like that. So I have not provided specific advice about any restrictions I would be prepared to ease. It is too premature.
That uncertain future claiming another casualty. Spring into Corrimal's been cancelled for the second year.
But if we go through and spend anywhere up to $100,000, $200,000 to fit in with all the restrictions, to fit in, with all the QR codes and whatever, and then lockdown comes, we're financially ruined.
Only time will tell what other community events face the same fate. Keely Royal, Win News.
Police are searching for a man who held up a Dapto news agency earlier today. The man, armed with a knife, entered the Bong Bong Road store just after midday. A female employee was threatened as the man demanded cash. He fled down a laneway. He's described as Caucasian, in his 20s, with a slim build. At the time, he was wearing a dark blue hooded jacket, a mask, black cap and grey tracksuit pants. A man who allegedly led police on a high-speed pursuit through the Illawarra has been refused bail today. 34-year-old Keith Williams was arrested yesterday after he allegedly failed to stop for police, leading them on a chase that ended with a crash in a Tarrawanna backyard. Williams is facing 20 charges, including exceeding the speed by more than 45 kilometres an hour and possess prohibited drug. He'll face court again next month. Australia will endure more serious and more frequent fires, floods and droughts within 10 years if carbon emissions aren't dramatically cut. The Illawarra will be impacted by rising sea levels, but our region also has the opportunity to be part of the solution.
The Black Summer bushfires remains fresh in the minds of many. Communities were decimated, livelihoods destroyed. Today, there's a stark warning the worst may still be yet to come.
This is actually just the beginning. That might be one of the coolest and dampest summers that we have to look forward to, and that's a terrifying thought.
A new IPCC report into climate change has revealed the Earth is just 10 years away from warming by more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, a threshold that will trigger more frequent fires, floods and droughts.
We reckon COVID is a crisis. It's not a crisis compared to this one, and it's fast approaching.
Warming in Australia has already reached 1.4 degrees. If we can't reduce our carbon emissions, fires will be more intense and the seasons will last longer. There'll also be less rain, but it'll be heavier when it comes. On the coast, the Illawarra will be impacted by rising sea levels.
In the worst case scenarios, it's more like 4 metres of sea level rise, and that would essentially mean the entire coastal plain of Wollongong looks a little bit more like the coast at, say, Coal Cliff.
But our region can also help turn the tide by manufacturing the materials that can create a greener future.
Clean steel, clean aluminium. The change is happening. The change is happening. The investments are happening.
But the South Coast Labor Council is calling on the government to get a move on.
We've got the port, we've got the steel works, we've got the manufacturing capacity. We should be in the box seat here. Let's make it happen. The sooner, the better. And it'll be our workers that benefit at the end of the day.
Sam Mills, Win News.
Medical breakthroughs with the potential to help millions of Australians could be delayed due to limitations in lockdown. Researchers are adapting and even cancelling clinical trials, but some studies still require daily attention to avoid losing irreplaceable material.